पहले हमने सोचा कि हम लोग कुछ फनी कोल्ड ओपन करेंगे जिसमें अभी आ जाएगा, लेकिन हमने सोचा छोड़ यार, अभीश को आने ही देते हैं। वेलकम अभीश मैथ्यू,
Yes.
कैसा
Thank you.
है मेरे भाई?
Woo!
या actually we had an opening for the man who wears many hats but you aren't wearing any right now. सबका दोस्त, सबका प्यारा, सबसे निराला अभीश मैथ्यू।
वाह वाह
वो तो
वाह।
है ही भाई
Actually,
तू।
actually, if it was truly to be an Abish episode, Abish should have hosted it
या
Yeah.
and called us on.
आई थिंक वी नीड टू गिव अभीश ऑल्सो ब्रेक ना। उसने इतने साल सबको सवाल पूछ पूछ के, गेम खिला के, मस्ती करा के, उसको कोई पूछ रहा है कि नहीं? अभी हम लोग पूछेंगे, अभी हम लोग पूछेंगे अभीश को। बट उसके पहले अभीश, लेट मी टेल यू, तेरे आने की खुशी में कौतुक देख क्या हेयर कट करके आया, मस्त।
ये देख।
ब्रो
हाँ
जेन्युइनली बाप लग रहा है।
अच्छा है। कौतुक तेरा एक साइड से निकला हुआ है। इट्स जस्ट
It
ऐसा।
it always I
हाँ।
don't know what to do
you
with
know
this
what I
man.
call this haircut? I call it the Kunal Rao haircut,
Really?
which is it's graying from the corner, but it's
Oh!
always properly kept. It's always
Yeah.
neatly kept.
No, Abish, this is not graying. So for the first time in my life, he's like I've gotten a fade. It's a fade. It's just my scalp.
Oh, dude, तू तो divine लग रहा है यार अब। Suddenly when you said it's fade.
फिर कौतुक रैप करेगा।
By the way, this fade वाला ना in common parlance is fuck boy haircut.
Oh,
ऐसे
oh
इधर से,
no.
हाँ।
Oh, really?
तू
नहीं
तू
नहीं, but the fuckboy element would happen if he had excessive hair here and
That's
he's
the
just like
problem.
ऐसा चढ़ाया होएगा उसने like a bloody drawbridge.
That's the
this is-
problem. I keep going to my hairdresser and I'm like, is this the last time? Because can you please figure this out?
अभी तो जाके डाल दे।
This is from a fuckboy, it's become I am fucked haircut. This is fucked so many times, I'm no more a boy, I'm a man now haircut.
I'm fucked. That's a
But I
great
think-
way. बोल आदर।
I think Abish gets this more with curly hair. After getting a haircut, I have to personally check कि उसने गलत नहीं काटा, because once I went for a haircut and then I went out and हम लोग गए पिक्चर देखने के लिए and my parents have noticed कि ये साइड लंबा है compared to this.
अबे
And
तू
I had to
आईने
go
के
back.
सामने नहीं काट रहा था क्या बाल?
अरे पीछे से ना, you don't realize, and then I held it. This hair is suddenly here. So she screwed up somehow, and I think in curly hair that time उसने कुछ product डाला था तो चिपक गया था, और बाद में पिक्चर देखते देखते मैंने ऐसे सर रखा सीट पे and it became long again. And my mother's like, and this is a proper hairdresser and you paid a lot of money, so it's like ये क्या disrespect है
like-
for curly hair.
You gave a very ponytail kind of vibe. तो उसने बोला let's start from the right side and then we build up to the left.
But actually that's so true. ऐसे लग रहा है आदर अभी भी पोनीटेल बांध के बैठा है, जबकि नहीं।
हाँ, that's true. That's
Bro,
actually true. Yeah,
तेरी
full of-
दाढ़ी चटाई हो गई है ब्रो, अभी चटाई है वो
Can't-
प्रॉपर, वो रग है।
I can't say, so I have to put like oil or something inside because it's like it's cold weather, so I have to make sure that it gets inside. So it becomes like, oh, it's actual dandruff problem. You have to be careful you don't get dandruff.
Can you do me a
Beard
favor?
rough is a thing. It's a
I
real thing.
don't
Yeah.
know where your face ends and where your beard ends. Can you do me a trick like this, just as a finger test कि कितना deep है? ऐसे उंगली के साथ करना. And now look down.
Bro, that's
ऐसे कर ऐसे.
Oh, that's like, he's
हाँ, अभी
at
अभी
least
इसको ऐसे
one
ऐसे
nail
कर,
in.
अभी
Dude,
ऐसे
ये
ऐसे
तो
कर।
इधर इतना गया.
ना गया.
That's thick, bro. That's
Yeah.
thick.
और curly है, actual खींचेगा तो ऐसा आएगा. So I have to get into that place. जो मेरा ऐसा हो रहा है सब.
Dude, in other news, मैंने उस दिन मेरे को घर पे वो ऐसे आता है ना, ब्रांड्स अपना सामान बेचते हैं बहुत बार, ये लो और अच्छा लगे तो डाल दो, तो एक कोई ब्रांड का बियर्ड ग्रोथ ऑयल मिला मुझे मेरे घर।
Oh, that's a perfect
Because-
integration for you.
या तो मैंने लगाया, लेकिन
But
नहीं
you
आ
should
रहे,
make an entire
लेकिन-
promo
मतलब
like
नहीं आ
गोरे
रहे।
गोटे. अरे नहीं, लेकिन गोरे गोटे स्टाइल एक वीडियो बनाना चाहिए वैसे. पहले मेरे थोपड़े पे दाढ़ी नहीं थी, लेकिन
और
फिर
फिर मैंने-
like a whole like a 2.5 minute proper infomercial.
You know something like Thakur, I've never seen you with a beard, and if I saw you with a beard, I probably wouldn't recognize you because you're just a non-beard person for me. Like कि तू नहीं है.
Bro, I grew it once for a film. ठीक है, तुम लोगों को पता है स्टोरी? पता है, वापस बताता
तेरा
हूँ।
इतना ही है ना, फादर डिकोस्टा.
हाँ, फादर डिकोस्टा, ठीक है। तो मैं स्ट्रेट इतना ही ग्रो होता है, मैंने 34 डेज शेव नहीं किया, ठीक है, तब जाके वो आया। देन दे लाइक ओके दिस इज गुड फॉर द फिल्म। 28 दिन का शूट था, हम लोग महाराष्ट्र के इंटीरियर्स में जाके शूट वूट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, 44 डिग्री ऐसे सब है, मर मरा के जल गया, वो दाढ़ी है, आई कांट रिकॉग्नाइज माई सेल्फ, ऐसे हो गया कि ये कौन है आदमी, रोज सुबह उठ के देख रहा हूँ और यहाँ आती नहीं है कुछ, ठीक है, सिर्फ ये काला होते जा रहे ज्यादा, और दाढ़ी। शूट खत्म हो गया, आई केम होम, नहाया, मैं बोला सीधा लिया रेजर और डन ना, शूट इज ओवर ब्रो, आई एम फ्री ऑफ दिस। उसके 2 दिन बाद डायरेक्टर का फोन आता है, सॉरी कुछ अपना फाइल वाइल करप्ट हो गया कैमरा में, सो वी आर गोना हैव टू डू अ पैच शूट ऑफ 7 days. I said, okay, when? She's like, in 2 weeks. I said, no, you'll have to wait at least a month and a half. She's like, why? I said, because I don't have a beard. And she's like, but it'll come now in 2 weeks. I said, do you? No. So they were so sure, they let it, they sort of monitored it for a week to see kitna aate, then they realized nahi hone wala hai. So I had to get a beard made. Okay, so I went there, they showed them the picture, this guy got the beard और उसने आके beard, French beard चिपकाया है, और जब वो चिपकाते हैं ना, उन लोग गम लगाते हैं and then ऐसे दबाते हैं ऐसे, and then they leave it, but it gets so tight that your lips can't move. And to make matters worse, I asked him, I said, ये किसका बना है? तो बोलता है घोड़े के बाल का। मेरे को लगा ऐसे कोई इधर ह्यूमन है, नहीं नहीं, घोड़े के बाल का बंदा है, तो मैंने घोड़े के बाल लगा के किए हैं।
You know what's amazing about this story is that I have met you after so many years, and I know I've heard this story from you thrice. It just shows how few films you have done in your life. It's the same stories.
Oh God.
Oh man.
You know, I actually, the way he structured the
Beautiful.
burn was, you know, I've heard you
Compliment
say
आने
this
वाला
way.
है।
मैं बोला भाई तो अभी बोलने वाला है, क्या स्टोरी बोलता है भाई, मेरे को हमेशा अलग लगती है।
क्या दोस्ती है हम दोनों की।
क्या दोस्ती है। चलो इसी बात पे करते हैं चालू आज का एपिसोड। Hello and welcome to another episode of the Internet Set. So, a show where we take random incidents out of self-facts and develop personal stories and we talk about it. And today we have very special Abhish Matthew. Abhish, firstly, bro, हम लोग पहले सोच रहे थे कि तेरे पास टाइम होगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि तू you are always doing something or the other. तू शो रनिंग कर रहा है, डायरेक्टिंग कर रहा है, होस्टिंग कर रहा है, एक्टिंग कर रहा है, कॉमेडी कर रहा है, राइटिंग कर रहा है, म्यूजिक कर रहा है, दुनिया घूम रहा है, तो कैसे मिला तुझे टाइम ब्रो आज?
क्वेश्चन ये नहीं है कि मैं क्या क्या कर रहा हूँ, क्वेश्चन है मैं इनमें से अच्छा क्या कर रहा हूँ। करने के लिए तो बेसिकली वी ऑल फोर ऑफ अस आर अनएम्प्लॉयड ओनली। जो भी हम दिन में करते हैं उसको बोलते हैं करंट अकाउंट में डाल देता हूँ। अगर मैं यूट्यूब भी देख रहा हूँ कि काम तो है भाई, मैंने स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी स्पेशल देखा।
This is so true. This is so true. I just want to zoom in on this topic because like so my mother-in-law had come to stay with us for some time, and the first time she's staying with us, and so for the first time she's seeing me for an extended period of time. Okay, and so for the first time she has realized he's unemployed.
Every day she wakes up, she's like,
being a writer.
क्या मैंने सही किया अपनी बेटी का हाथ इस आदमी के हाथ में देख के, जो बैठ के YouTube देख रहे हैं सुबह से।
Because of exactly
I'm doing
that,
research,
right?
Auntie. I'm doing research.
That's exactly the thing. Ki for artists or for like any kind of creative work, it's so difficult to make it look like work.
Yeah.
Right? Because
sure.
it's as much work as it is fun, and it's more fun for people who don't do this work.
Correct.
I've realized it's posture. If you're sitting and watching YouTube like this, तो आलस है. But if you're like this, making notes.
तो periodically से ऊपर देख, ऐसे नीचे कुछ भी लिख, my name is Aadar. ऐसे देख, my name is Aadar. वो भी लिखे ना,
नोटपैड पेन.
बहुत काम कर. एक तो नोटपैड पेन gives that seriousness, bro.
Yeah.
Like this guy is so serious about working, वो लिखना सीख रहा है वापस.
देख ऐसे अगर YouTube देख रहे हैं तो मतलब ये लगता है कि एज अ बॉस पैर भी ऊपर करके रखना चाहिए, ऐसे रिमोट हाथ में होना चाहिए कि एक पेन हाथ में रखें.
Yeah, but if there is a cup with मूंगफली resting on your stomach,
then it's not correct.
But तो अभी तू क्या कर रहा क्या आजकल? From all the 18 things that we mentioned, what all have you been doing?
Dude, so अभी there are 2 rumors going on. एक rumor है कि मैं कनाडा शिफ्ट हो गया हूँ.
वो भी.
Which I believe.
मैं शिफ्ट हुआ नहीं हूँ. मैं my parents have been there for many years. तो मैं 6 महीना वहाँ पर 6 महीना यहाँ पर करता हूँ. So now sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 4 months. I make sure that I go to Canada around August, September because पामा का anniversary भी हो जाता है, TIFF भी है, and plus I made a lot of friends there in Toronto that I keep visiting. So almost like September is like Santa Claus is coming to town. At least I am the Santa and I'm coming. Nobody cares, but I do. So then when I come back, then I will work through the year and then go back. So अभी वो 9 months, 3 months, 4 months
बट
minus
कनाडा
कितना
कैसा
होता
लग रहा है देखो भाई? टोरंटो में टोरंटो.
Toronto नहीं, parents are in Vancouver, so
ओके.
it's like जो मैं क्या बोलूं यार, when I was coming back this time, we said we'll do a small dinner for the closest family members. 36 people are close family members.
या.
Wow.
So there are two nephew and nieces. My cousins have moved with her family. My cousin has moved with their dog. Now another couple of nephews have gone studied there. So it's a village that's like 20 minutes away from each other. Every New Year's they're doing this one ABCD party, which is anybody can dance. My brother DJs, and my cousin set it up. So that's year end. There is anniversary. So every weekend they're meeting. So matlab, imagine as a son who's watching it on WhatsApp group, I'm just like,
Yeah.
मैं तो यहाँ पर बस काम कर रहा हूँ यार. So when I go back, I really feel home. When I'm
Yeah,
here,
home has become Canada now, essentially.
home has
Yeah.
become Burnaby. Yeah, correct in one way. But like
तो
it's weird to say this is not home. This is where all my friends and everything is. But this is
या.
also a city where I come and I'm like achieve करना है. वहां जाके मुझे deflate करना होता है because mostly
हाँ.
being with family is the job because it takes effort.
या फॉर श्योर डूड. बट सो इट्स वैंकूवर में ना पूरा. डिड यू डू स्टैंड अप देयर?
You know, I have never done stand up in Vancouver. I've done in
क्या बात है?
Toronto stand up
हाँ.
because the thing is, मैं वहाँ पर इतने like for a decade that I've been going there, I've only done mics or small rooms, and then slowly my trips started becoming smaller. So at that time, I would only spend time with family. Only recent past, post 2020, have I started spending like more time. So
Hmm.
now when I do shows. Last time I did Toronto. This time I do want to do one in Vancouver, and I would like to do another one in Toronto for sure. Just to keep going back.
And this is also true, na, ki like when you go to meet family or relatives or whatever, like it genuinely takes so much time. Like there is very little time left to do anything else. Like, and you'd be surprised कि fuck इतना time लगता है क्या?
तो 3 महीना निकल गया है कभी कभी. ऐसा लगता है कि 1 महीना हुआ है. कभी कभी मैं 2 हफ्ते के लिए जाता हूँ, लगता है कि टाइम ही खत्म नहीं हो रहा, क्या हो रहा है हर दिन.
Yeah.
But also my parents are 78, so they're old. So and my brother's also there. So all the time there's some क्या होता है यहाँ पर, they live in a house and
Hmm.
it's a wooden house, so it requires
Oh,
constant maintenance.
maintenance.
So the house
Hmm.
mimics their life. So it's like two retired people living in a retired house. The only thing you can do with this house is to build a condo post. So it's so nice to, from outside, it's beautiful to watch a story. I just feel like I'm not in the story. So now I'm like, as much time as I have, I just want to be in the story. So I have enough to remember.
But Vancouver is a beautiful place, bro. I'd gone with
Oh
family
yeah.
for a holiday. What is that park there, man? That
Stanley
really
Park.
Stanley
Stanley
Park.
Park. Dude, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, till now, my mom's favorite memory is of the four of us cycling the entire length of that park. It is
Yeah.
beautiful. You know, one that's the thing about like Canada, a lot of other places also, at least Canada, from whatever my experience was in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, they are very outdoorsy people, right? Like, so there's that perfect balance of,
Because they are
you get
also
to do.
indoorsy people for 6 months of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, exactly.
It just
Exactly.
Actually, can I break that bubble about Vancouver is slightly different.
Huh.
So Vancouver has like if you drive an hour away in any direction,
Mm.
there are these like Whistler Mountain comes in. You've
Whistler,
got
exactly.
Horseshoe Bay. You've got not Saskatchewan. What am I saying? Squamish. You've got so many places to drive to that after Thursday, Friday is almost like कट हम लंबे weekend के लिए जाएंगे. That's why if
Mm.
you see Vancouver doesn't have a very strong gig economy as far as comedy or
Hmm.
music is concerned, and
Mm.
that's
Because
it
you're
doesn't have
competing
as
with
much.
nature.
Exactly. Right. And West Coast is also slightly more retiree. It's a beautiful, like it's got that West Coast vibe. East is where you see, whether New York or Toronto, you see that young energy. A lot of people
Yeah.
who are there are mostly, I think, a lot of hustle energy is there. I feel like, so I can see that distance. So Canada doesn't get that cold. It snows only for one or like in a month, maybe for a week or two.
In
And then
Vancouver.
the rest of it is just,
Vancouver.
it's like Vancouver. The rest of it is like sprinkly rain. So mostly Vancouver has a
Hmm.
lot of like polite,
Yeah.
petite
But
rain.
Vancouver has more Indians or Toronto? Because as far as gigs go, my longest stint, like my first artist residency for theater, was Vancouver, where we did 15 shows in 20 days in the same exact theater, and it was mostly Indians who were coming.
And now the data would be slightly different. I feel like a lot of new immigrant population from Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, all of them have moved to Toronto because work opportunities, and it's also more of a metropolitan, I believe, as far as the financial capital is concerned. So now you'll be able to do it there. Vancouver has had a lot of Indians, a lot of South Asians in general, because I think it's very tough to isolate it into Indians. Now, when you go there, you're no more Indian. You're kind of South Asian community, like you would identify, right? Like even other.
I
So I feel like when you
Yes,
get
yes.
out of your own country and just see other people, you realize that in common parlance तुम ये नहीं बोलते कि इंडिया में क्या होता है, like अपने घर पे भी होता है, आप कहाँ से, मैं तो लाहौर से, oh तो हम साउथ एशियन है, I'm like, oh हम साउथ
Yeah.
एशियन है, oh great. So I feel like in that context, I think now Toronto has a lot of like high, like they will buy tickets. If you do, like any of you are planning on doing a show, usually how comedians will travel is we'll go to different cities into. I'd recommend use Toronto as a place to do slightly longer residency. Stay, enjoy the city, and do those shows. Mix with the other comedians, give them spots, and then go back because it's a alley oop. You throw it to the next comic who comes and does. They want new audiences, and we can bring those audiences to that venue and then distribute it to the rest
तो
of the
भाई अभी
comics.
जाके सेट कर लेना हम लोग के लिए.
अरे
हम लोग तो
हाँ.
ये सोच रहे थे तू उधर जाएगा, तू जाके कुछ मस्त एक शॉट कर देगा सीन.
यही
और
यही
Yeah.
प्रॉब्लम है यार,
We'll never have
कर
कमेडियंस
दे
के
to.
यार,
साथ
We'll never
खुद
have
कुछ
to
करना
worry.
चाहते नहीं हम
तू
लोग, हम
तू
चाहते
कर
हैं
दे ना
प्रोग्राम
यार.
सेट करें.
तू कर दे शॉट, हम लोग आते ना, फिर हम लोग रेजिडेंसी करते साथ में, फिर घूमते कुछ ना. लाइक व्हेन आई रिमेंबर माय फ्रेंड हिम एंड हिज वाइफ, दे लिव इन वैंकूवर. ठीक है, उन लोग का भी यही है कि मंडे टू थर्सडे काम किया, फ्राइडे या फ्राइडे व्हाटएवर, फ्राइडे इवनिंग खत्म हुआ, बैग पैक की गाड़ी में डाल दिया और चले गए उन लोग पहाड़ों में. ठीक है, तो मैं उसके घर पे था जब वो पैक कर रहा था,
हम्म,
कैजुअली जस्ट पैकिंग बेयर स्प्रे. बेयर को ये करने के लिए एक स्प्रे होता है, उसने रखा है. ब्रो, डूड, बेयर्स जस्ट इट, दे कैन
yeah,
जस्ट कम.
yeah,
Yeah.
और मैं वो सुन के मेरी फट गई, मैं तो कैंसिल कर दिया, बोला नहीं नहीं मैं नहीं जा रहा. चूते मैं,
yeah.
तू ऐसे क्या बोल रहा है, बेयर आ जाएगा? नहीं, मेरे को ऐसी जगह पे जाना है जहाँ कंफर्म बेयर नहीं आ रहा है. ठीक है ना. मुझे वो वाला
ब्रो
से बोला
यहाँ
नहीं
पर
ब्रो, इधर होता है,
फैमिली
आते हैं.
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे मेरे को बेयर साइटिंग का वीडियोस आते रहता है, स्कूल के सामने, कभी घर के बैक के एलीवे के सामने. पर ब्लैक
हम्म.
बेयर एंड ब्राउन बेयर में बहुत डिफरेंस है. सो यू विल गेट इट, ऑफ कोर्स ब्लैक बेयर इज आल्सो डेंजरस, बट
Yeah.
ग्रिजलीज आर लाइक, they are
Oh,
the
देख,
more
मेरे
that
को
is what
सिर्फ मेरे को
native
सिर्फ
to
टेडी
Canada,
बेयर
na?
चलेगा. मेरे को सिर्फ
So I'm
Hey,
coming to
Abhish, I have to ask you, are you an outdoorsy person?
My brother is extremely outdoors. He's an adventurist. He's a, sports athlete. So उसके peer pressure में मैं भी वहाँ पर outdoorsy
You
बन
tag
जाता
along.
हूँ.
Does he
Huh.
has a regular job, na?
He has a regular job.
That's why. If you're
Why?
a
Why?
freelancer, because you're stuck in the office for so long, for that 9 hours a day, you end up like, I just need to get out and do
हो
things.
सकता है, हो सकता है. Very, very true.
also
But
access
this,
to nature, that conveniently done, which is not being raised down to build something in its place. That's a big thing across the
Oh,
board
by
when
the
you see
way, they are making the Mahalakshmi racecourse
into a theme park.
Yeah.
a theme park.
हम लोग out,
I just want to
हम
know what the
लोग
theme is.
the theme the theme is coughing. The theme is just endless construction and allergies. That's what the theme is going. How the fuck are you just taking अभी महालक्ष्मी race course नहीं, अभी यहाँ theme park in the middle of the, who gives a shit? Who gives
Yeah.
a shit?
No, but sorry, just to come back to this,
एसएल वर्ल्ड खोलो ना वापस, उधर जाओ.
to just come back to this thing, okay, like, and I think it's an interesting topic to explore, ki the difference between like this culture of like outdoorsiness, which is just, I don't think, like Bombay mein, I mean, there are some people who do this, like I go for treks and all of this stuff, but generally I think people just stay within the city because it's also, it takes you 2 days to get out of the city. So उसमें तेरा
Yeah.
Saturday Sunday निकल जाता है, like to get past the toll plaza. So,
for
the
me, I used to
problem is
always
the
think
stuff gets spoiled. Sorry, like when you go for trek, the treks have gone for bus kharab ho gaya hai. Oh, sorry, there aren't enough tents, so now you have to share. So even though you paid money for certain things, they're not there. So it's just like you're very wary of like,
अपने
is
अपने
this
बीच में
safe
I
to
think
go?
that you're right. I feel difference India और बाहर में क्या है, in our head, all of us are outdoorsy. You want to be that person who goes out on a weekend, goes to this nice unexplored area of some mountain on a trek and post a picture saying, "Oh, we walked through this for 3 hours, then came across this beautiful waterfall that nobody has ever seen and took a dip." I want to be that, right? But difference is what I've seen. Maybe some people still do it. We wait for a thing to get made, like a package. You know what I mean? That there is this company that takes you out. Vis-a-vis, if you look at it outside, a lot of people are just filling their bags up, taking their own tents, putting it in their own car, and going out and doing it themselves. I think एक
I,
ये fundamental difference बहुत हुआ है
I think the
between
main
India and outside.
difference, I think the main difference Aadar pointed out, you don't have a job, Varun. If you had a job, you would do it. खुद ही गाड़ी खरीदोगे, क्रेटा के पीछे तुम वो लगाओगे जिसके अंदर साइकिल होगा, खुद प्लान करोगे, खुद आने long weekend. Our problem is
because
we are living in the privilege of our own time. Sorry, Kautuk.
No, I was just going to say, like, for example, now decathlons have opened all across India, right? And when you go to decathlon, they have every possible thing that you could need for any sport or whatever, right? They have a kayak sitting there, right? But public, like, generally people will be like, oh, nice, boat bhi hai. And then they'll be like, badminton racket kitne ka hai? Right? Like, meaning the outdoorsy culture, like, is not as much. And I think one other thing about it is because, like, at least when we were in Canada, we had some cousins of Sidhi who were staying there, and so they were telling us this thing, ki, like they have trails made, they have like, and the trails are not even very far from your house, like it's like 15-20 minutes away. And so this cousin of Sidhi was telling us, ki, like on she used to work from home sometimes, so she would take her laptop out into the trail and sit and work from there. Like that's such a crazy nice thing to like have.
तो
And
उसके
like
जूम
as
के बैकग्राउंड में मतलब आपने तरह से
I'll just be switching my camera for a second.
Yes, so
and then you can just hear sounds के मार रहा है, लड़ाई हो रही, like you can just Revenant का background score चल रहा है. But I remember being so unprepared when we were in Vancouver, where we didn't understand what's that awesome mountain in Vancouver that people do. What's it called?
Grouse.
Grouse Mountain. So the
trail.
Grouse trek, and we were supposed to go somewhere else. We were like, there's this glass bridge, okay, जिसपे नीचे ऊपर दिखता है. तो we were supposed to go there, but वो उसका ticket बहुत महंगा था. I think so. It's that little, so we decided
I've also
between
been
that.
there. It's transparent on the floor and you can watch it goes out into the valley and comes back. Yeah. It's scary.
So I remember it was $40 or something, $40 or $60. तो हमने बोला नहीं, ये तो नहीं हो रहा है, ये बजट नहीं आज का. तो हमने बोला चल ग्राउस ट्रैक पे जाते हैं. ग्राउस जा रहे हैं तो वहां पे द केबल थिंग गोस. So now the thing was, if you go by a cable car, it costs you $20 or $30. But if you just walk up, you can come down by the cable car for free. So हम लोग गए walking. And अब लोग now understand, we were prepared to go for the glass bridge, which we thought was free. So now we have one girl with us, and we are all in denims. Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And
that's
one
so
second.
funny.
And she has decided, because she wanted to click photos on the glass bridge, she has worn platform heels. Now we are walking. अब हम लोग देखे सीढ़ियां हैं, तो शुरू में ग्राउस ट्रैक पे सीढ़ियां हैं, तो हम लोग चढ़ रहे, एंड वी आर वाचिंग पीपल इन फुल ब्लडी जॉगिंग गियर एंड एवरीथिंग. ऐसा है, ये क्या पागल लोग हैं. तो हम लोग सीढ़ियों पे चल के जा रहे हैं, लाइक वील टेक ब्रेक्स एंड एवरीथिंग एंड वील वॉक अप. Now I don't know, it's I don't know how high it is. It's insane. Like it was halfway through our friend, and she started crying because wo heels were destroying her knees and her calves.
Of course.
वो नंगे पैर चल नहीं सकती उतार के. And so now we are there, and we are just sitting there with a girl crying, 4 Indian boys, the 3 Indian boys with a girl crying, and people are passing, Canadians are passing us कि ये लोग क्या, and वो बोल रही है मेरे को नीचे जाना है, and we're like, देख नीचे भी उतना ही distance है जितना ऊपर है. and ऊपर से cable car. So it took us 3.5 hours to get
In
through.
platform heels and jeans.
I cannot stress how powerful, like I realized how strong she is, because by the time she went up, we were like, क्या खाना तेरे को, burger ये वो सब उसको खिला रहे कि just because she managed to do it.
Dude, it's called the grouse grind. People
Grind.
do it competitively. I also, when I went for the first time, we all went prepared. Ki pani ka bottle, papa bhi chade. My brother's done it a couple of times. So it's almost a conversation ki how many times have you done the grind? And when you were describing this, every time I've gone on a grind, I have seen an other, I have seen a friend, I have seen a couple of people, just like what is this? We didn't expect. All with backpacks, jeans, just
And chafing.
flip-flops, nothing is prepared. So
Yeah.
I
हम
might
लोग
have
भी गए
seen
थे ना,
it.
जब हम लोग हनीमून पे जब गए थे, we had gone to the Italian Alps, okay, we went to the Dolomites. तो एक ऊपर एक जगह जाके वहां पर देखना बहुत अच्छा साइट है, people usually trek up. और निकिता बोला हट, केबल कार, ठीक है, तो केबल कार में ऐसे ऊपर गए, पूरा उधर घूम के वापस केबल कार में नीचे आ रहे, एंड इन आवर कार देयर वर 4 other Norwegian people
Huh.
who were 65 who have trekked up. And the only reason they had to trek down is because one of the friends usko kuch ho gaya tha, that's why, otherwise they would trek down. And I asked them, I said, listen, like at this age also they are fully, because they looked older, like old, not even older, old, safed bal ye wo. They do this for six months a year. They just go to different countries, pick one of the toughest treks or whatever to do, and they just keep doing it. And हम लोग ऐसे देख के, मेरे को उनको देख के मेरे पैर दर्द कर रहे, bro, because that trek up was some 4.5 hours.
You
और
know, the
गर्मी
thing
था,
is,
हम लोग समर में गए थे ना, हट, गर्मी में धूप आ रही है और मैं 4 घंटा ट्रैक करूं, चांस ही नहीं,
can I tell
चांस
you
ही नहीं.
something? Abhish, can I tell you something? This is an insight on Thakur, okay? So, other people, when they hear this story, right, would have seen the Norwegians and been like, you know what? That's inspiring. When I become that age, I also want to do something similar. I want to be that active. But Thakur sees those people and goes like, they have just confirmed my life choices. What a bad idea.
नहीं, I had that thought कि अरे fuck, I wish at 65 I could also trek for six months in a year across tough mountain, but I'm like, चल हट, नहीं.
Yeah. मुझे लग रहा है
Cable
तू
car.
60,
नहीं,
65
केबल
में
कार में जाना है, नीचे मस्त पेगी बियर पीना है, मुझे
मुझे लगता
गर्मी
है
है.
रिटायरमेंट में ये ट्रैक में नहीं मिलेगा ठाकुर, बट मुझे बर्निंग मैन में एक स्टॉल तो जरूर परमानेंटली
बर्निंग
शुरू
मैन
करना
करूंगा मैं जरूर, बर्निंग मैन तो 100%. मैंने
Tell,
सोचा है
tell
40,
Burning Man story.
40 अभी गया नहीं हूँ, जाने का है, वो भी बहुत टफ
Abhish,
है.
have you
सो
been?
No, I've heard a lot of people and I know I want to explore it one day, but अभी तो
बट
लाइफ को
उसमें
सेटल
तो
करेंगे.
नो, विच इज व्हाई आई वांट टू मेक इनफ मनी कि आई डू बर्निंग मैन कंफर्टेबली, व्हिच इज completely opposite to the
Opposite
idea
of
of Burning Man.
so the from
ठीक
what
है?
I've heard is from what I've heard from friends who've gone to different friends, it's to enable a sense of community and trust. And of course,
Yeah.
the first time when this as him as an Indian, when he went with a friend, they went fully prepared with like squished in fafda and like vacuum sealed, and it's hot.
That is how I
So
live in London. This is just regular
London
day
is
for
your
me in London.
burning man.
अभी like बलराज आ रहा है, 10 दिन में आ रहा है यहाँ पे, and my mother is sending him लहसुन चटनी because I'm begging Balraj to get me लहसुन चटनी.
This is perfect. I
Those days.
forgot. तू तो मतलब तेरे को तो
Okay,
Yeah,
Indian
one second.
flavors नहीं मिल
expert.
रहा
I
ना,
am
कैसा
getting,
लग रहा है
I
यार?
am showing you what I have. Okay, wait.
तू पराया हो गया है तेरे को. कहाँ गया भाई?
उसने उसने ऐसे अपना गिटार ऐसे पीछे बैकग्राउंड में प्लेस किया है, अभी देखा मुझे.
अबे खोल के तो
Yeah.
रखने के लिए बोलो उसको
हाँ,
एटलीस्ट.
ऐसे बंद करके.
अब
Okay,
मुझे बता, तू ही
this is
बता.
food from, this is vacuum packed dehydrated food that I brought from home. This is rajma that I have. This is biryani. This is chole. This is basically like emergency food that I have that my mother has dehydrated and sent over.
It looks like you're
वाह
going
ब्रो.
to space.
Yeah,
या
this is like
अबे
legit.
स्पेस में भी थोड़ा डब्बा उब्बा लेके जाते हैं भाई. नहीं कर रहे.
But
Fuck bro, hard.
this is also worth talking about ki, and Abhish, you should, I mean, would want to know your opinion also ki, the fact like, you can adjust to everything outside, but I think the food connection is tough. Like after a point you go like, I need this vacuum sealed lasun ki chutney. Otherwise my life is just, it's not complete.
Yeah,
in some
that's
odd
true.
way.
That's why I'm saying, Aadar, banana सीख ले भाई.
अरे
हाँ
बनाते हैं हम लोग, but sometimes you're just tired, man. You're just like you've been working and लोग बाहर
और
जाके जब भी
समटाइम्स
in the
मॉम
night
के
it's
हाथ का वो टेस्ट चाहिए ही, तू कितना भी
yes
सीख
Laziness
ले.
है. No, I have such a
yes
strong opinion against माँ के
Oh,
हाथ का खाना.
please say.
माँ के हाथ का खाना is the most overrated, highest preaching propaganda towards patriarchy. माँ के हाथ का खाना में कुछ नहीं है,
अरे माँ के
convenience है.
नहीं, बाप बाप के हाथ का, कोई भी
घर
कोई
के हाथ के खाना.
घर के हाथ
घर का खाना, घर
so
का
when
खाना.
my mother when
अबे
my mother
इसकी
comes
मॉम, बिकॉज
here
हिज मॉम इज अ बैंगिंग cook, bro. She is
yeah
amazing. The amount of times we have eaten out of his dabba because mom makes
That's true. I
insane
know that
food.
white chicken you had got to Canvas Laugh Club once, and I was like, इससे
yeah
दोस्ती बनानी पड़ेगी.
so
That's
my
how
mom
Okay,
good
has
the
a
Abish.
food
full
was.
business now, so this is
yeah,
full
just gonna.
food business that she runs, so it's like now it's just like अच्छा मम्मी 10 पोर्शन मेरे लिए बना दो
What?
and
Okay,
pack
tell me
pack
about
it.
this business.
Wait,
So
Abish, you
Next
got to hear the
segment brought to
name.
you
You got
by.
to hear the
yeah,
name.
by the
Other.
way, it's my mom cooking food for you, and it's called Momato.
Speaking
Big
of,
ups,
it's
I am,
big ups.
available.
I
It's
am,
available
yeah.
on Zomato, so order Momato on Zomato
On Zomato.
if
Okay,
you like
hold on.
tomato.
You know what? I don't know how much time we have, but while we're talking,
I will get a box sent to you. I will get a full
no, no,
food
no.
like
Like Thakur said in the beginning of the episode, हमको ऐसा ऐसा मिलता है, मैं खरीदता है. तेरे को पता है, डाइसन मैंने खरीदा.
क्यों
खरीदा.
क्यों क्यों
Dyson.
क्यों?
ये मेरे को Kanan, this Kanan Gillett told me. Dyson and Amazon Echo. These are two things that you never buy. They just
Never
get sent to
mind.
you.
They get sent to you.
This is
You should not.
Momato. Uh, Momato. Okay, anyway, I'll continue.
हाँ.
Continue.
Hmm.
So,
Wait, got to ask you one other thing. You know what? From Canada, should move to second part of rumor. Second part of rumor was what, Abish? Ki,
बहुत
so
काम
what?
करते हैं अभीश.
बहुत काम कर- And by the way, I can testify to it. I've worked with Abish. It's true. The rumors are true. बहुत ज़्यादा काम करता है. And you know, the other thing about Abish is because Abish does so many different things, right? He does like 6 different things at the same time. So I've also found out one very, very cool, very endearing thing about him. Okay, which is that Abish is one full productivity nerd.
Yeah.
Like
हाँ क्या?
he's organized and analytical and has Excel sheets, and he has like like he actively looks for how to make his life easier, better, faster, efficient. Like
Abish
Abish,
has taught
what's
me
the
how
most
to
recent?
organize, organize my edit in a way that I had never thought possible by just this. And I still copy paste those 5 folders that Abish has taught in to
अबे
organize
मेरे
your
को भी दे
footage.
भाई ये सब.
It's
So give us
just
some
5 random
productivity
folders.
hacks. Like Abish,
wow,
what
dude,
would
I
you
feel
recommend?
great.
Genuinely, what would you recommend for creative people or just anyone? What do you think would really help people if they knew some stuff about organizing or
Man,
just
to
like
be
productivity?
honest, I think I'm just very excited by the learning part of it, that it becomes my process keeps changing and the over evolving process and keeping something is what I figured. So, number one, I'm very accountable to a calendar. That's the bare basic of my accountability, hence productivity. I don't want people to find out that I'm actually lazy. So, I will put shit on the calendar. So, and then it became a place where if I'm looking at, I haven't done anything, I'm like 30 minutes to writing kar le. So every time I write, I just put it. So over some time, and this calendar I've been using since 2000 and Google Meets भी integrate नहीं किया. 2008 या 9 या 10 या 11. So since then you can track back to every person I've met. Earlier it used to be one calendar, then it became two. One was my calendar, then one became MGMT, जो managers के पास होंगे. So वो color red में. So I think that was the ground basic of like my time is what's important to me. So I would work on it. But productivity hack wise, the one thing that I still stick to is something called quarter paper. Quarter
Oh, what is
paper
this?
technique.
What
Oh
is that?
man, I'm so proud. Okay, patent pending. Take a already printed out paper. Already printed out paper. Just fold it over so that this is all the reality you have. Now, whatever ideas, to-dos, everything is here. It should not spill to the other side. And if it does, then you have to make sure that you have to rewrite everything again. And I dislike the process of rewriting a task that I've done. So somewhere when I look at this, and one day I switch and I just have to finish it. And then when I write it here, I'm like, bas teen baki hai. So then this becomes my quick capture of anything.
Oh.
And if I'm on the walk, then I'm like, remind me. It goes on to my reminder, but whatever goes on the reminder comes here. Whether it's an idea, it's to call, it's related to this project, it's related to that. So every time my brain thinks of something, I'll write it down. And this is not my dad, I found out when I was a kid, I didn't realize my dad used to do the same, but he would do it
What?
in such a way that he would take the sheet, shut it down like this, and he will make it even more. So now he has one project, two projects, three projects, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that way, I've just made a simplified version for a lazier son to just make it like this, and then we'll switch it.
That's insane, bro. This is so cool because you're showing me this, and all my head is thinking is about that dance game we used to play. वो MC खिलाता मालूम है कि the song plays, then you fold the paper into half. Okay,
You
but you
stand on
can't go
it.
out of the paper. Then you stand on the paper. Then the song plays again. After song ends, you fold the paper half. But this is
Wow.
fucking crazy, bro. Like
Yeah,
and this is actually working for you.
This, I think I went a little crazy during the lockdown is when I finally found time to explore myself. And so then I had this delusional sense because I was spending so much time that my desktop is a spaceship ka cockpit. And and on the right hand side is my notes that's written, left on the computer I'll execute, on this I will compute. So that this, and then that goes only for communication. Otherwise, if you use a lot of productivity apps, then that I have done that for so long that I realized it's my dopamine is coming by learning a new process, but not maintaining that process. So Google will stay. So I've Google Calendar. As a matter of fact, something that I do want to do, and I want to hear your thought is, I want to make one public calendar as a subscription model where I will add all the shows that I'm doing, of course, but also these smaller meetups or just a Google Meet, just for all calendar nerds to come together. So if I find a
Nice.
community of calendar nerds, this is a show or whatever it is for them. Newsletters ho, random meets ho, kuch bhi ho. Oh, I
And I love
recommend
that
this
it's a
show. I'll put it there.
I
Yeah.
love that it's a subscription model, and it's like, and I'm assuming it's going to be next to nothing. But even putting 10 rupees gives a certain commitment to people to be serious about what you're doing. So it's like you're getting only the people you want there to
Yeah.
actually see
So
it.
also the fact that there are calendar nerds. This is
Yeah.
I
a
hope.
true thing.
I don't know. I
This is
hope
a
there
true
are
thing.
people like me.
No, no, I'm
Guarantee.
sure they are, bro. There are so
Like,
many people,
okay.
like so many of my friends who are calendar nerds to a point where उनका एक पर्सनल वाला होता है ना कि अगर तेरा 5 मिनट का भी कुछ कॉल या कुछ करना है या ऐसे बात को वो भी लिखा हुआ है
अरे
और
आदर का
ऐसे
calendar you should see sometimes, man. Like आदर
Yeah.
का calendar is like divided into like finest. Like I need to do like क्या क्या था तेरा calendar पे? योगा
Bro,
का
tell
था,
me, what
एक
the
इसका
fuck?
था.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know there's
So I
another
used to,
calendar nerd.
yeah. So and big mistake I made was I didn't understand what calendar should be shared and what not. So my managers now know what time I'm doing yoga, what time I'm going to therapy, what time I am, what time I'm going to the gym, and there are motivational things also. Stop procrastinating is a thing on the calendar, which now all my managers have seen because that is the. So then I slowly learned how to. Then I had to wait, and also I couldn't delete things. I didn't realize how to delete it. So then it's just there. वो एक setting होता है ना every morning 8 to
every
10.
morning,
Oh,
yeah.
पूरे साल के लिए. So I had to wait for the whole year to run out so that I could then move things to the other calendar.
Wow, bro.
dude, you know why, Thakur, you're not a calendar nerd? इस कुछ करने को है नहीं तेरे को, क्या ही
हाँ,
डालेगा?
कुछ नहीं, कुछ सच्ची कुछ नहीं है ब्रो दिस इज नॉट इट्स फनी बिकॉज इट्स ट्रू क्योंकि कुछ नहीं है देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन मैं ऐसे बाय द वे माय मैनेजर्स डोंट हैव एक्सेस टू माय कैलेंडर नॉट बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट टू गिव देम बट कुछ तो लोची हो गया वी हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू फिगर आउट येट राइट सो there are times when I put my stuff on a calendar which I never even refer to because my calendar is here. It is weird. Like I'll put it down here, but I never really refer to, oh, what am I doing on 8th of March? I
He
know
never
it here.
refers, yeah.
Dude, I can't remember. How do you do that?
Dude, the last time I wrote my stand-up out was, I don't know.
Maybe you should.
I can't. I can't. It's always here. I should, exactly. I should. I would write it out once, but that too, it's like bullet points. And I've never gone back. You know, when I used to have to write it, when अपन कोई auditorium show कर रहे हैं and they need a censor certificate, so they're like, hey, send your set. And I was like, you won't understand anything in it. I don't know. it's
Hey,
not
Chat
productive.
GPT, write 1 hour stand-up content as Varun Thakur. Based.
Like,
Also
fuck, मेरे को
said,
देखना
should be
क्या होगा
approved
इससे.
Yeah, like,
by
I don't know
SMT.
why Varun's calendar has come to me. It's weird. I get Varun calendar alert. Yeah, like 13 December, J spots, Varun Thakur. I don't know why
What
I
are you
keep getting
doing,
alerts.
Varun?
What?
Was Aadar
Yeah,
your manager at some point?
I randomly get alerts from Varun Thakur for shows that I am not involved in. I wasn't in India in
Hilarious.
December.
That's so funny.
Hilarious.
That is bad. Varun, do you want to tell us how your
And I
J-Spot
don't have a show
went?
on 13th.
13 December last year कुछ हो रहा था तेरा, and I got an
Wow.
alert, and I keep getting random sporadic alerts from Varun Thakur, which is nothing, and I keep assuming कि इसने podcast के लिए बनाया है to alert all four of us के podcast
What?
कर रहे हैं.
So this
Hey.
is how not a calendar nerd I am. My managers can't see my thing for some reason. Other can, and I also don't see.
I mean, not to
Dude, you know
not
something?
to not
Huh.
to crack a punchline that has existed, but I think accessibility has always been a problem with this group.
Yeah.
Uh,
Varun is too accessible. That's the that's the advantage here.
You know, the thing that always like
Online
puts
accessibility, so you got.
the thing that always puts me a little bit off of like excessive productivity, like because when I start going into the zone, like I have this tendency where every 3 to 6 months I'll be like, shit, man, my life is it's getting out of hand. It's too chaotic. I need to like organize myself. And so then I'll get into this whole like, okay, organize. And then after a point, I start going like, that's too much. Okay. And I'll tell you what, every time the same scene plays in my head. Okay. I'll tell you what the scene is. It's the scene from Dil Chahta Hai, where they meet this character called Subodh. And he has a timetable for everything. He's like, कि मैं 6 बजे उठता हूँ, फिर मैं इधर जाता हूँ, फिर मैं toilet जाता हूँ. And it's like, for me, it feels like it kills the joy of just living, like living a life which is not fully planned. You know,
Yeah. Actually, I want to ask Varun this. So for me, I don't use calendar for what do you call every day I have to do this, like Aadar also mentioned. I use it mostly now as a memory of things I did, work, writing, anything. So do you have a way, because you remember all your dates, do you remember what has happened on those dates also?
To a certain extent, if it was memorable, if it was just like any other day, like many times what happens, and it's true for most people who are, I think, freelancers, right? Because तू सुबह उठ के अगर काम पे नहीं जा रहा है या आज तेरा शो नहीं है या शूट नहीं है,
the days look the same.
then like my last, like this Monday to Friday, my day from 10:30 when I wake up, 10:30, 11 till 6 till I go to the gym has been the same. It's me trying to convince myself that I'm actually working. So तेरा ऐसा लैपटॉप खुला दिखेगा, ऐसे एक रैंडम ये क्या बोलते हैं वर्ड डॉक खुला होगा जिसके अंदर स्टैंड अप लिखा हुआ है, and I'm just staring, and then eventually I start doing other work which is not important per se, but just to make yourself feel like, oh, I did something. Do you all do that? Do you all do like random work too?
Kautuk shares a lot of observations about this as procrastination, because I love reading Kautuk's procrastination observations that he keeps sporadically, and I'm like, oh god, okay, chalo, someone else is also feeling like this.
Yeah. There is in fact, Thakur, you'll be very happy to know there is an actual word for this thing. It's called busy work. It's where people keep themselves busy. They think it's work, but it's actually neither. And it's basically low priority tasks which you're pumping up in your day and convincing yourself ki.
I started Dysoning the house.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So someone once told me, don't. I just saw it in an interview, productivity hack video that you keep watching on YouTube. Do not make your bed in the morning, because the first thing, because if you do that, it gives you this false sense of accomplishment.
Also fair.
वही तो चाहिए होता है. दूसरे productivity video में बोला है, that's what you need to keep your dopamine going.
Yeah, it's weird. And I started doing that where it's like, I will not make my bed, which irritates me a lot because the bed is like like out of place, until I do something that I am proud of at the end of the day. But like, I have written these 3 jokes. I have to write those 3 jokes before I go make the bed, because it is irritating that the bed is not made for me personally.
I don't care if my bed is made or not.
If I followed what you did, then I wouldn't have 3 jokes and my bed also wouldn't be made.
But also,
I would be talking to my manager about one random thing that he or she also doesn't know about, right? But I'm like, hey, you had asked me about this one show 3 months ago. क्या हुआ उसका? And they're also like, क्या? कौन सा show? I said, अरे वो show था ना, अरे I've written it down. Then I have a half-hour chat with them about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry because anybody who works with me has to bear the brunt of me trying to feel busy or feel productive. And then you also realize it. It's like you do it and you take a step back and you realize, like I'm talking about it right now. It's not like it's been happening for very long. I don't know how to break that.
No,
Which they hack, Abish.
I think procrastination is fine. Our job is to get bored.
Yeah.
That's what our job is
Agreed,
to do
fully.
nothing. Because that's when we are at work when we're not doing something. But we come from a vocational culture where only by doing can you get incentivized, only if you get up at 7. So what I figured is procrastination is part of the process. But if you forget what all you have to do, you raise a little bit of anxiety. So I've designed my life in dialing down all anxieties, including my personality or increasing my patience. So when I write everything down, then I can procrastinate on it. I don't need to see this anymore. I just need to have it.
So when you said you remember certain days or not, they all seem to blur, but I have days, I don't remember the date, kya hua, but I remember the feeling of certain days where I had been writing 4 songs simultaneously for 2.5 months. And suddenly on that one day, I wrote 3 of them and completed 3 of them. And they became part of my set. So now in my head, it is like, अरे देख मैंने 3 गाने एक दिन में लिख दिए. And I'm like, oh, I can do this level of productivity every day. I can write 3 insane comedies. But no, it was 2.5 months of writing, scribbling shit on 20 other pages that suddenly just culminated into एक दिन में खत्म हो गए.
You know this because we've gotten into this habit since we were, at least I'll speak for myself. When I was in college में तेरे को बीएमएम के टाइम पे प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट करना है, ठीक है? तेरे को ऑलरेडी 3 महीने पहले मालूम है कि तेरा अगस्त में ड्यू है. तो any normal person will start 3 months थोड़ा 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 करके I'll put it together and then compile it nicely, be able to check it. मैं 3
बूंद
दिन में
बूंद से सागर बनता है.
मैं तो बूंद नो बूंद स्ट्रेट सुनामी, बूंद बूंद करके नहीं, सीधा सुनामी. लास्ट 2 दिन में ऐसे रात भर जाग वाग के कुछ तो करके प्रोजेक्ट दे दिया. प्रोजेक्ट अच्छा भी मार्क्स आया, देन यू स्टार्ट रिवॉर्डिंग. भाई तू 2 दिन में कर रहा है, सही है. That becomes a cycle, and trust me, it's come to a point when if I have to get shit done, I have to just be like, okay, launching my new stand-up tour 15 Jan. Fuck it, I've said it, I've announced the shows. Now I don't have an option but to do it. And even in that case, it'll get written fucking 2 days or a day before. And it'll get perfected through. I don't know how, but it's not a good thing, bro, because if you're leaving everything for the last thing, anxiety, boredom, irritation, annoyance, everything goes through the roof, and then you still do it. But usko thoda properly plan ke, I told myself 2 घंटा लिखूंगा. Yes, sir. 2 hours. 2 hours, I will just open my laptop and I will write fucking anything. It doesn't have to be, it can be a funny thing that happened in my life, a story, one observation, but just physically just sit and write it. I've been able to do that for a total of 1 day in Jan. And Jan was anyway like 7 months long. Jan खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा था, Jan चलते ही जा रहा था, उस पे भी एक ही दिन लिख पाया हो, bro. So I don't know how to break out of it. Is it like the same repetition?
Can I tell you what I usually do? What I figured. So my journey, let's say with stand-up specifically, not with anything else that I do. If I have to look at stand-up, a long period I didn't do mics, and after then I got busy doing Son of a Beach, everything. Now that I got back to doing stand-up almost every night, I'm going on stage, doing trial shows, working on it. I realized that performing art is like sports. Some of us are in form, some of us are not in form. We are always preparing because subconsciously we're preparing, but unless you're not, in my case, going and doing mics, because for me, 15 minutes is what I need. I don't need the tickets to be on my name. It's a good place to just faff around. None of us will fail on stage. Our jokes and our material and our song might fail. That is where I employ myself in a way like I run a company with my friend Lloyd, and he only manages me. So now, when I did a trial show, and Lloyd was watching it on his laptop, and I'm watching on my laptop, and my editor is watching on laptop, I realized that I've put in a lot of resources towards this
Hmm.
thing that I'm taking lightly. So my
Hmm.
accountability went up. Like for you, deadline and timeline makes you work. For me, if someone is accountable, if some human being is involved,
Hmm.
then I am
You
at the
want to do
best
good
of
by
my
them.
behavior. As
Hmm.
soon as you remove it, honestly, I just want to watch Age of Empire videos or my favorite Rimworld or something just like on 2x speed. But as soon as I know I'm accountable, I would be showered, I'd be dressed, I would be prepped, I'll be poignant and go. So for me, that works. So in case for you, you feel a flux out, a lot of comedians at the open mic level, what they started doing is they started meeting. Same thing we guys did back in the day, but for a lot of online collaboration and for like live show collaboration. I think we've all, if you look at our circle, we've become independently comfortable and we collaborate on comfort, but nothing is live. And that's what makes us
I feel
us.
also like for many of us, we tend to, at least for me, tend to work better when I'm in a room with people.
Right?
Hmm.
तू मेरे को
Classwork,
अकेला बोलेगा
homework,
ना,
yeah.
This तो
ये बैठ
seen.
के
This is
कर,
a Thakur. This is
मैं बोला
Thakur's
यार अभी
issue
कभी करूँ
from
ये वो
Thakur
क्यों.
will write a 1 hour script if he's just around people and
Yeah.
somebody else is typing
Why do
and
you think he does the
somebody else is
podcast?
typing.
If somebody else is
Yeah,
typing.
bro, fuck. If somebody else is typing, I'm fucking great.
But that's what I meant.
Uh,
No, so either
But
employ
that shouldn't be
somebody.
the case, right? I should be
no.
fucking
There's
typing.
you find your way, dude. You have
Dude,
money, you hire someone, you figure, you fail, whatever it is. It's just keep trying newer things to do it. That's the
like
exciting
If
thing.
anybody
here's
wants to type what I say, please get in touch.
Dude, AI is there. AI will do it for you. But the energy, so I call it classwork and homework. So if I'm in classwork, I'm the most excited, but I like to do homework because that means after we've discussed, I know none of you have taken notes. And I don't have that sense of like someone take notes. I will only take down notes because I only, if the opening and the closing has to be, if the approval is on me and the germination idea is on me, then I need to put my footprint here and I need to put my footprint here. Projects में, but personal life when it comes to stand up, I think we're all the same कि क्या
No,
होगा कब
so I
होगा.
have seen this with Abish, and I've got to compliment Abish, and which Abish is going to not take well. So I have seen Abish because Abish doesn't take compliments well. I've realized this. Abish is one person who will go out of his way to help you. To the point,
yeah.
that's why Abish is so busy because Abish can't say no. If you ask Abish for help,
Why do you think he's doing today?
yeah, he can't say no. If we ask him कि अरे Neville अगले 50 podcast नहीं आने वाला है, can you help us? I guess then that will be Abhish's answer, and he'll somehow make the time. So and Abhish takes the and Abhish will protect you from like I have gone on stage where I've like I played a song for him and Abhish has stopped me, like actively stopped me. Aadar, this song is not complete. Don't go on stage with it because then you will hate the idea and you will stop because there is something there. But you and I have gone to draft 8 because of Abhish because I thought I was done at draft 4 and I would have
Oh,
given up at draft 5. So there have been instances where he's done that, but Abhish fucker personally does the weirdest shit on stage, and I have seen him take the biggest risks on open mics where it's like, oh, this is not working at all, but the product was complete as a like a joke, a beginning, middle, and an end. Abhish
all
had
right,
it,
I'll take it.
and
I'll take
Abhish, but it still didn't work. But Abhish is like, no, I'm going to, and I'm like, Abhish, tu kyun itna bada risk liya? But it's like, no, I wanted to do it because he had completed the framework of the joke, and
हाँ.
it was a full-fledged, completed joke. He had put in the work, but it didn't work, and that's when he threw it out into the garbage. He didn't try it. कि अरे idea है मैं करूँगा. नहीं, it looked like
Yeah.
he had written each word out meticulously.
So that was the journey of the joke.
That was the journey of the joke.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, no, I appreciate it. I've become a guy who takes compliments now. So you complimented me. My official response to you was, "Thank you, man. Really appreciate it."
Yeah.
And then I
Also, you have
awkwardly
a
look at
great, you
Kautuk.
have a very big penis. That is very.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Only you would know this. Awkwardly looking at now, Kautuk.
But bro, Abhish, when we were looking at stuff about you also online, one thing I found out which I had no idea happened. You acted in some movie called Meri Pyari Bindu. व्हाट इज
Yeah.
दैट मूवी, क्या किया, कब किया, और ये उसके बारे में मुझे क्यों नहीं पता.
Bro, मेरे को क्या मस्त टाइम हुआ था यार. Because of that film, Ayushman, Pariniti, Prabal and we were having breakfast they'll
अबल
take us for
पंजाबी.
breakfast. Huh?
अरे
They'll
वो
take us
मेरा
for
दोस्त है.
breakfast and then they'll take us for some other breakfast. Chalo na, late night shoot hua. And Pariniti is like, come on, let's go. And Ayushman like, yeah, let's go. And Prabal is also from the industry. He has some acting context. And I'm like, full imposter syndrome. I'm like, मैं इधर क्या कर रहा हूँ? तुम्हारे पैसे में मैं 5 star में खा रहा हूँ. I
और
Dude,
have
अच्छा है ना.
I've realized that you become a comic because you don't fit in anywhere else in society. You're like, this is the only group of people where I kind of like, हाँ ठीक है चल. Like, हाँ sorry, Abhish, please continue.
exactly. So imagine, no idea. Prabhal's also very sweet and he kind of understood. First thing Prabhal told me is acting is mostly waiting in a vanity van. So
Yeah, tell
upskill
me
Hilarious.
about it.
yourself. And I was
Yeah,
just like,
it's a thing, right? I don't get paid to act. I get paid to wait.
I think that's what he had
It's a
said.
thing.
I
Yeah. This is a
paraphrased it
famous quote.
completely badly. So and then I was just like, that's true. So I started editing, doing other things. So it became like the vanity van became like this hostel room. And I would go and see the shoot. So, I mean, any shoot I go to, I don't want to sit inside I want to see what's happening, what equipment they're using, how
Yeah.
they're doing
Yeah.
lighting. It's just a way to be attentive. And because I like learning, so I'm just like, oh, I won't ask anybody because that's annoying. But then I'm just observing, taking photos, writing notes. So I learned a lot in that project. The one thing though is, I think in the entire movie project, it took a long time. We shot a lot of stuff, and I am there for like, I think 8, 9, 10, 12 seconds. I think that was the first time I realized, because we have always written scripts, shot it, edited it, and uploaded on YouTube, and we know how much we keep in. Then I realized in that industry, you of course shoot, have the ability to reshoot, reduce. So the script, the way the writer writes, and the way the movie comes out is not very different. It's completely different. Which for sometimes it takes for the better, sometimes it takes for the worse. So
Yeah.
honestly, for me, I was like, oh, ye sab kiya. And then when the movie came out and I saw myself, there's this
What
one
was your
shot.
first reaction seeing yourself on
Bro,
the
I'll
big
tell you
screen?
I now in retrospect, I remember Kanis, Kanan, Kenny, couple of my friends, we are all at La Rev in Bandra. I haven't gone for the premiere, so I'm very excited to see. I don't know what it is. My friends are like, go, Beast. I'm like, I'm gonna be a rock star. Take that, Varunthakur. Pow, 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 pow. And I go in, and the movie starts, and uh, it's a lot of scenes we shot, nothing is there. Then there was this one scene where the first shot where I'm lying down naked with like a boxer, and then the bell rings, and everyone gets up, and then they run, and then they keep declare the house because Pariniti is coming, and Ayushman's like, "Oh, come on, friends, let's do it." So I'm also doing it fully in character, only to realize on the edit there's this one scene where I'm moving away from camera, and they pan down from my ass up to my back, and I'm like, oh, I've become the quintessential fat guy in this one shot.
Oh.
So then I was like, I see. But I know that's no more a director or a writer or the crew's vision. It At that level, a lot of people decide. And there was another actor, when the door opens, he looks up and there's a fart sound, which I know wasn't in the script because I read the
Oh.
script. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, this has gone to a different edit sensibility. So I was like, okay, cool. So that was the only thing I was like, as soon as that happened, everybody on my right, like, you know how everyone's like, a great film. You know, Kaniz is the only honest person because she will slip the truth. You know how? She was holding my hand, and as soon as that scene happened, she went, held my hand tight and did this. And I was just
Ay.
like, I'm not feeling bad, should I?
Ah.
Ay. No, but Abhish, what you were saying is so true. The fact that, um, like the difference between, say, if you're a writer or you're a comic versus if you're doing something collaborative, right, where you're just
Hmm.
one cog within a bigger like project, right? I've realized, man, it's so out of your control. So
Hmm.
many things have to, like, so many visions have to match, have to align, and it's always either some is greater than its parts or some is much worse than its parts.
Yeah.
It's it's never some is equal to parts. I've realized, like, it's you're never gonna get that.
But you can. The thing is, I think because Son of a Beast 9 seasons of doing it, right? So almost, if you look at it as a showrunner, if you have a showrunner such as a comic as yourself or any of us in the panel, if it's a comedy related project, then most of us know somebody who can do production, who can help, you can upskill. Because of doing it so many times, I figured translation of script to director, to actor, to edit. There are multiple ways to punch up a script. But what happens is that when you've written something and then you add something without having the writers involved in the process in the beginning. So a showrunner technically should be a writer and also somebody who works in production a little bit so that communicate the vision, work with the director and the actors to communicate the vision, and the edit and all of that, while also helping on the script. And I think all of us do that for our independent projects. So if you have your own project and if you are at the position of power, how will you, who've gone through so much of trauma, writing good scripts and it doesn't come out the way, you will not let go of that. So the new crop of showrunners needs to be a bunch of Neville's, for example, a very good showrunner. Like he gets right from creative to the other, whether you call it director, creative director. But like the point is that, right, it's like the runner. Idea को लेकर audience तक भगाने का काम
You
runner
know
का है, बाकी
something?
सब help करते हैं.
Neville का एक, like, just to tell you his, like, how his mind works when he's directing something, right? I really, really liked this. So he directed my special, okay? And he had this thing where he's like, okay, before shoot day, whatever you say is what will happen. Okay, whatever you say is what I will make sure happens. But on shoot day, whatever I say will happen. Okay, so he's very clear about the demarcation of what his role is before shoot and what his role is on shoot. And I felt like that was a really, really like good insight, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Because on shoot day, he knows what he needs to do. And before that, it's about how to get my idea across. So that synthesis was really, really interesting.
That's good. That's why he's a good director. So what a showrunner would be able to do is to empower the director, hear the director, and make sure it's communicated with the producers, studios, and everything. That is what. So if you look at talent and if you look at people who are publishing, they want to achieve something, so they trickle down. We want this kind of content. Lots of us create ideas that don't exist because that's our job. But having one or two that fits into that ecosystem is how you can sustain what you want to do alive. Hoping that your experience of doing this is what they want. But it's just, if you all work towards it, then in a few years they get like these kind of shows might come out. But to be honest, the distribution that like the internet setso has is a great platform for any of you to kind of discover and put like, okay, we worked on a film together. You know, the TIS boys have done something. It's your personality on the internet that people are buying, according to me, and not your jokes specifically. But
Oh, 100%.
So if your personality is what you put together, sorry, I did. Good writer, Matt. Great writer. See, great, just sliced. चारों का career ऐसा आधा काटा है. इस frame में अभी बस 2 comedian बचे हैं.
But you know, I found some productivity facts. हम लोग इतना productivity की बात कर रहे हैं.
बता है.
तो मुझे थोड़े facts मिले. Firstly, 84%. By the way, this is according to microbizmag.co.uk.
Oh, very reliable source.
We have very in-depth research.
They have productivity hacks
cutting edge journalism.
And pirated movies.
We scour the first 3 links of a Google search in depth, and we found it.
Well done.
So 84%, according to a 2020 survey, 84% of us procrastinate, and I am 83% of that. Then, what is your most productive time of the day, Chal? Let's ask each of us first. What is your most productive time of the day?
If I do a gig at night, then after my adrenaline is too high, perfect time. तो 2 बजे 3 बजे तक मैं सो जाता हूँ.
तो तू बोल रहा है तू शो करके किल कर रहा है और फिर वो एड्रेनलिन यूज करके तू रात को आके घर पे लिखता है. क्या बात कर सच?
अरे what a great feeling. Best
because if you've done something, if you're doing a bit and you've added shit, which Thakur does a lot. But Thakur अपने सर में रखता है. He's like नहीं नहीं बन रहा है वो बढ़. But he remembers. I can't. So I have to remember to write ke I wrote this new, I improvised this and this got the biggest laugh. And that was the natural progression of it. I can't
Thakur
remember.
and
I have
I
to practice.
ठाकुर एंड आई आर फ्रॉम द स्कूल ऑफ थॉट कि अगर किल किया है तो
तो
दैट इज द
मजे करने
अचीवमेंट फॉर द
हैं
डे, फिर सो जाएगा.
फिर
हाँ,
मजे सोने का
वाह,
क्यों?
मजे करने का. हाँ
मजे कर, पार्टी कर,
हाँ
घूम, ये वो, आके खुद को ये क्या भाई
हाँ.
तूने तो किल कर दिया.
Yeah, everybody in your house is like ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है
अरे.
घमोरिया हो गया, घमोरिया.
Okay, so according to this page.
No, wait. 1 second
Oh,
before you
sorry.
continue.
तूने बोला ना.
Adar, what is your best
He
time?
said na. He said after.
Immediately
no,
after the
he'll-
show and immediately after waking up. So this
But-
was a piano hack
Oh.
that I figured out. If I was trying to get into a place where I'm trying to get a solo correct, a piano solo, or I'm like right now I'm doing something that is called boogie woogie, which is heavily dependent on your left hand, and it is breaking muscles that I've never broken before. I've got like full. I'm getting like stretchers and things like that where I'm just sitting at the computer watching stuff where I'm wearing a kind of stencil to stretch my this, make it
Oh.
comfortable. So, and I've figured out the last 15 minutes before you sleep and the first 15 minutes when you wake up, just go straight sit at the piano. Because in that drowsy state, your muscle memory takes over. And you want the muscle memory to take over if you're trying to do something that is, I have to ignore it, the left hand in this particular form. And that state is the best to get my body used to that fact. Okay, this can work on
Interesting.
autopilot.
Wow, bro. तू
I've
मेरे को
realized-
सोने के 15 मिनट पहले और उठने के 15 मिनट बाद कुछ भी करने बोला ना तो मैं ये ऐसा स्ट्रेच करके फन तुझे मारूंगा. अरे 15 मिनट उठने के बाद मेरे आजू बाजू बात भी मत करो, कोई भी. जब तक मैं अपना कॉफी लेके बैठू नहीं तब तक कुछ सवाल मत पूछ, कुछ बोल मत, कुछ कॉल मत करके हे व्हेन यू गोइंग टू सेंड. नहीं.
नहीं, I like how Thakur said नहीं, no,
बिल्कुल भी मत आना अगर तेरे को डांट नहीं खानी है.
This is the thing. It's like you just sit with this, and it's like, how deep can you get it? And
1
just sit
second,
like this
Adar,
for
I have to
20
ask you this question. Is this specifically for piano or are there other uses for this?
Yeah, this is
makes sense.
extremely useful for good Tinder life. But also it is very useful for writing because there is no. I've
Really?
realized when I wake up in the morning and I write those 3-4 jokes, just 3-4 jokes, and I realized this from Veerdas. The fucker does not spend, like, he gets disappointed on the day that he didn't wake up in the morning and go to his journal, and it's that non restricted writing where you're not judging the joke, you're not judging anything, because 10 days later you'll figure out what to do with that idea.
ये that's the difference. इसलिए वो वीरदास है और मैं हूँ क्योंकि मैं अब जोक सोच के जज करके अरे ये तो नहीं चलने वाला है तो लिखता ही नहीं.
One gets Emmy award, one gets Emmy award.
Emmy award and nomination.
Bro, मेरे पास हैक सब है, मेरे पास प्रोसेस सब है. इट्स द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. That's the उधर ही मैं मार खा जाता हूँ. By the way, Aadar and Abish, all are amongst the 2% of the UK population who is particularly productive late at night. तो तू शो करने के बाद अगर जाके काम कर रहा है, you are 2% of that population. Okay. One more. 90% of people have admitted to wasting time at work. And surprise, it's not 100%.
And that time wasting is planning your next outdoor trip.
Yeah,
exactly. Or watching something. Okay.
Dude, by the way, one other thing to talk about, which is very specific to comedians, which is that it's such a bizarre profession because oftentimes you don't have, like working hours, you have working hour, right? At best, if you're actually if you're actually touring or whatever, but if you're just open micing, you have 15 minutes of work, right? And your whole day is geared towards somehow making those 15 minutes worthwhile, which is why when you bomb, it's not just the end of it doesn't just suck that the joke didn't work, but that day got wasted. That entire day hinged on 15 minutes of being on stage, right? And then you're looking, and like a junkie, you're then looking for the next day, waiting that whole time to get on stage the next time, hoping that it goes better, right? So it's an odd existence, like, and it's a very weird way of contextualizing how work, like, you can't even uh, uh, compare it to, like, how do I explain to people what this 15 minutes means to me? I just can't.
It's a junk. I don't. It's like a high. It's a weird high. I've noticed this about Thakur because you're not satisfied. I've seen Thakur do 1.5 hour of comedy on stage and come off and be like, "Yaar, wo." And Thakur had this one joke, and I'm like, I don't want to like, but he had this one joke that, and he released it. It's gone. He keeps, and I'm sitting with him, and he's had a great show, by the way. He's sitting and going, "Wo wala." That hasn't happened yet. I need to get that same reaction of that joke again in this show. You remember the reaction, the
Reaction,
speed
yeah.
at which it hits you, the applause that used to, and it was consistent for that joke. Why isn't it coming again for this new stuff that I'm writing?
हाँ
भाई लोग, मुझे एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है पर्सनल लर्निंग के लिए। तुम्हें से कभी प्रैक्टिस करता है अपना सेट पूरा 1 घंटा कपल ऑफ टाइम्स ऐसे
हाँ
I
रोका
have
ना
नहाते
करे?
recently
वक्त
started doing that. I have
नहाते वक्त
with music, it was always the case. Music, I had got to a point where if I'm doing a new song, if I'm trying a new song at an open mic,
he had
know
some
that I have
number.
practiced it 70 times at home.
Yeah, he had a
No,
number,
no.
like he's like, I need 70.
What I meant is that
Yeah.
जैसे अपना अगर हम एक नया 15 मिनट या 5 minutes का है bit, so of course you've got that in your head, but are you verbalizing it at the same volume,
Speed.
speed? Are you delusionally thinking, what if I'm on
bro,
stage?
I don't think you'll ever be able to get it exactly to what you wanted on stage, but it's important to say it from the mouth so you have heard it. One is you hear it internally in your head. The other is when you vocalized it and heard yourself saying it. Big difference. तू कितने बार इसे लिखेगा ना, लिखने में अगर तू पढ़ रहा है ना, okay है. But there's a certain way in which you are delivering that you start, and suddenly the joke is hilarious. But if I just made you read it, you're like, bro, क्या लिखा है ये समझ रहा नहीं है. But मैंने एक बार बोल दिया. दूसरा, I got into this habit of doing now, and much later in my career. Earlier, I used to not record my sets. Public audio record करता है ये वो मैं नहीं करता था. I started doing that. So whenever you do get the time, you sort of go back and hear it because you know which. Suppose if I've done 7 shows at Soho, right? My first show vis-a-vis my last show is anyway going to be fucking different because I was doing it every day. My delivery was sharper. I wasn't using unnecessary sentences because many a times when you're just trying out a bit or you're doing it after a while, you add 3-4 lines that don't need
Yeah.
to be there. Like it's just words coming out of your mouth for no reason. Suddenly by the end of that week I've taken those words out. Now only fucking whatever's needed, only that bit is coming out. And when you hear it over and over again, I'm able to replicate that to a point where even that action that I remember, I'll replicate that action, which might seem like I just came up with it on the spot, but it happened once. Now it's in my head. Now I do it consciously. I started listening to my sets often. It just helps remember, and you're able to like hit the same vocalization that worked in that set. तो
This I need to now
ये एक
start
बार
doing.
ट्राई किया है. अरे भाई
This I
आज
need to start doing.
मैंने कुछ ऐसी चीज बोली आज जो सब लोग बोले यार ये this
Yeah.
we should
I
do.
mean, of
realized,
course.
I realized recording yourself at home, not on stage, from speech to text. When speech to text came in, where you don't have to type anymore. And I realized the way I say something, there are certain words that I will never type and write. But it was funny because I said it that way, and it was funny because I was walking and saying something, and I realized I should start typing like this. But certain words that I was using while just speaking were not present in my writing format, the way I would write and think that this word is funny. The tonation of the voice, the anger with which I'm doing the set, or the idea that came into my head, that kind of stuff doesn't translate to when you're typing that first idea. But when you're recording yourself, that anger, that frustration or something, whatever emotion you're writing the bit with, stays there in the
And I think
voice
like
note.
the thing to just add to both what Varun and Aadar said is, there is one thing where initially you don't have anything, it's completely unformed. You take it to stage, somehow it over time, just through the editing process of time and stage performance, it sort of like coalesces into one thing, right? It becomes like tight and firm, and it's reduced and sculpted. But what happens then is that you get repetitive, just like what Thakur said, right? You start like your same action to,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you say
yeah,
when you say one particular line, you do this, and then you keep doing this like one idiot, right?
yeah,
So at that point, you have to forget the bit and go back to the initial like reason why it was interesting to you. Because what happens with repetition is that you start looking for where the laughs are and not looking for where the emotion is. So
yeah. Correct,
then you need to go
correct,
back
correct.
to,
Dude,
hey,
it's
this
so,
is
it is so true. And then you sort of start getting bored of that bit, right? Like,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
that repetition, as good as it is for making it better, eventually also makes it boring.
Yeah.
कि मैं अभी ऐसे कर रहा हूँ, यूजुअली हंसते हैं, इस पे अभी हंसे नहीं, या मैं इसको, you're not then performing, you're just repeating. That also tends to happen many a times, but that, the audience doesn't
Audience
know that.
doesn't know. The audience
So
can
it's
feel
it's
like
So I
it's a
want
little hollow. Like, I don't know what it was. Maja aaya, but thoda, like it's that difference between like, oh, they really connected with the bit versus they laughed. So
Mm.
it's
I
that
had
thing.
this one question for Abish,
Hmm.
where you're technically you're hosting two shows, which I really watch. You're hosting, not like comedian.
Hmm.
You're host. There's Son of Abish,
Hmm.
which is talking to actors and stuff like. And then there's this really, and there's actor and comedian there also. But
Hmm.
when you do Journey of a Joke,
Hmm.
where you're geeking out over one particular thing that somebody has done, or so what is the difference when you're hosting, quote unquote, those two shows? Like, how do you treat the people you're talking to?
I think when it comes to Son of a Beach, my responsibility is that the guest and the audience needs to be comfortable, and the second responsibility, it's got to be entertaining.
Mm.
In Journey of a Joke, it's only one responsibility. The only reason this show exists is I would be having this conversation with a comic anyway, because I'm a sucker for process of how do you get to this joke. I'm a comedy nerd. So for me, that conversation isn't, I want audience to know how to do it. I'm like, fuck the audience. I want to know because I don't even want anyone to start with what is a setup, punchline. Nahi aata hai, start from basics. This is advanced course in comedy, is how I look at it because I'm taking. That's why end of Journey of a Joke for many episodes, it always ends with an advice for me. Because when you ask
Mm.
an advice to a comedian, they will give a generic advice. When I ask them for me, they have context of me, they know my strengths, my weaknesses. So if anything, Journey of a Joke is where I'm truly who I am. And on Son of a Beach is what I can create in a room. So Comicstan can hire me. And that's what I'm really good at building as a showrunner and as a host. Here, this is me talking. Like when we were talking right now, I was just gonna say, "Ye to Journey of a Joke episode again." Like
ये
all
तो
of us
Yeah.
are giving processes, right? So I
Journey of a
had
Dis.
already caught on to it. I'm like, okay, perfect. Because I'm in the journey to become a better comedian every time or a performer. So I'm like, oh, verbalize. मैं verbalize नहीं करता सही बोला टैग्स को पंचा अच्छा मैं और आधर भी ऐसे टैग्स रहते हैं मैं भी इम्प्रोवाइज करके डालता हूँ सो इट्स नॉट बैड है ओ 2 बजे को तू भी करता है चल मैं और आधर ऐसा तुम लोग ऐसे करते हैं ओ मैं और वरुण कनेक्ट करते हैं बिकॉज हम लोग मेरा कैलेंडर ब्लॉक्ड है फॉर अकाउंटेबिलिटी anytime there's nothing I'm living it I'm doing whatever I want because I'm like whatever I want to do it's on this paper I will get to it अगर कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट होता तो मेरा दिमाग बोलता है भाई रेंट पे करना है
Mm.
so that way I have outsourced my memory to paper and tech and I feel like Journey of a Joke Prize I get to get these insights which becomes like और बता ये आप ये तेरे और मेरे बीच में I think those are the two differences.
correct. This
Yeah.
was a Journey of a Joke or Son of a Beach. Abish, because the show is called Internet Said So, we also want to know what are you watching, reading, listening to, or what on the internet is catching your eye nowadays?
Sir, I'm a when it comes to internet, I use it like a non-multiplayer game. Like I don't want to see what the internet want to tell me. I want to
Yeah.
watch gameplay videos of strategy games. Like I've been watching Age of Empires tournament Octagon 2. Aussie Drongo has become one of my favorite YouTubers. He just comments on an Age of Empire 30-minute game. I've understood what a 2TC opening is. It's like my chess. The other game I enjoy watching is RimWorld, which is this
Wait, what?
RIMWORLD.
One sec. Where
It's a
are you
Japanese show
watching?
about.
Lots of people have made fun of my. I have a channel called Abish. It's a separate channel from Son of Abish. So I started that in the lockdown just to play RimWorld and stream. There are hours of videos of me playing RimWorld, and at that Discord server, I created something called a crashed colony where people used to come. So I used to take their names and make them characters. Now the thing is, you can't control the characters. They have personalities.
These
You
are like
have
Sims.
Wait,
Sims.
can you explain
Sims.
RimWorld? Can you
Okay.
explain RimWorld in
RimWorld,
yeah.
The
imagine,
non
is a
initiate.
colony management game. It's not as much as a click base like in
So
Age
you're
of
a
Empires.
secretary.
So I called myself the colony manager. So I am representing your digital form. So it became very fun to be inclusive for people to see what their character will do. Because some of the character traits are arsonists, but they are also ugly. So that affects the people around. If you don't tile the floor, it has move debuff. If you give them nutrient paste to eat, and if not a fine meal, then they have a mood debuff. So it's about maintaining mood, maintaining health, progress, making sure there are DLCs called expansions come. There's
One
there's
second.
yeah.
You are being a colony manager of ugly arsonists. What is that?
I mean,
Yeah. So far,
so
these are the keywords.
if I had to tell you,
So
you
you're
start with
Elon
a
Musk,
character
basically.
that is automatically moving. You
Uh,
can assign when they work, when they sleep, when they meditate, when they do anything, when they do recreation. You can assign if which character should do what job. Depends on the character traits and background history. When you click, it'll be written, used to be a spy, all auto-generated. So each time you play a game, it's a new story. So the way RimWorld tells a story is what I got addicted to 13 years ago.
the
Big
thing is, every
Brother,
time you say
basically.
Rim World, there's completely
Yeah.
different imagery going on in my head.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, let me
Always,
get this.
Yeah,
So
always
that's
Google
true.
search RimWorld video
yeah,
game, please.
yeah. Otherwise, there'll be a whole different world that you'll be exposed to. Abish, one
Alak
second. So
colony.
tell me, Ala colony, you are procrastinating. So you're playing Rim World, in
I wish
which
I was
you.
playing. I'm only watching. I wish I was playing.
Oh, you're not.
I'll tell you
Acha.
why. I love the game so much, and I've done 13 years is not a no all my relationships put together haven't lasted 13 years. 13 years if I've been committed to this. 13, I think so. It's been like since I remember that game, I know. I usually play when Son of a Beast shoot has done because I've earned
Oh,
3 months of disappearing from all of you.
Ah.
Because I am absorbed. I'm not sleeping at all. I am not concerned. I'm just excited, and and then it takes a project with money to peel me out. So I now outsourced it to passive watching what other people are doing.
but Abhish, you were talking about Age of Empires. I have not heard that in a long time. Age
In
of Empires
ages.
used, yeah, dude, it used to be my favorite strategy game. I've played very few, so I guess out of the five I played, it's one of my favorites. But like, what are you watching? Like, this is what Age of Empires, what 2, 3,
Age of
1.
Empires 4 has a decent, big enough community online that they do competitive gaming, that there's an ecosystem
अभी
of
तक चल रहा है.
casters. क्या हर दिन वो 30 minute का casters video competitions चलते रहते हैं. So I've really enjoyed it because it's almost like I know I'm going to get into Age of Empires because now I've watched so much of it. I'm just so excited to play. It's like chess, but like how people get very obsessed with chess. I get
Yeah.
obsessed with strategy games, and Age of Empires gives me the multi. It's I can play with online players. RimWorld you can play, so that's more meditative for me. Age of Empires is like gaming with somebody. If I have to play on my own, Age of Empires I don't want to play. I only want
Why
to
aren't
learn Age of
you
Empires to play
why aren't you
competitive games.
more into gaming content and stuff like that? Like, why aren't we seeing you in that space?
I think psychologically I still
कितना
haven't
कराएगा
gotten
बीच से
over.
काम?
I think psychologically I haven't gotten over the fact that gaming करेंगा तो मतलब it's a waste of time when it. So I'm like I don't know. I might, but अभी I'm excited to do stand up. If there are enough things to do, I feel like एक बार retire होने का time आ जाएगा उससे पहले मैं gaming. I think okay. This is what I want for myself. Let me put it this way. I want to build a life where I can allow myself to get out of what am I doing daily to
And
be
get
like,
into
oh, in
RimWorld.
this phase I am gaming, or this phase I'm like just going to study like other going and studying Alfika. So I think that's what it's every day. Shit like this keeps me tuned into every day, keeps me a little anxious. But when I zoom out, then I'm like, so now I have a year and a 10-year Excel sheet with things I should get. Then I know what I'm working towards when I come back to like after the hangover of Rimworld or whatever chill I've done.
But apart from strategy video games, what are you watching or reading? What on the internet has caught your eye apart from Rimworld and Age of Empires?
Wow.
आजकल कुछ नया देख रहा है?
But the thing is, I stay with
Uncomfortable
my
laughter.
friend Lloyd, okay? So
हाँ.
he scours the internet for just the most randomest of videos. So he introduced me to the funniest video I have ever. It's the worst song ever sung, and
I want to watch.
and it's very funny. It's what is the name of the song?
Worst song ever made?
Worst song ever sung, made. It's a guy with really beautiful long hair and
Is it
with an
Tahir Shah?
acoustic guitar. Huh?
Is it like
Is it
eye
Tahir
for
Shah?
eye for eye, nahi, eye to eye?
I thought I. No, no,
Bro,
no.
that's such a
But
blast
like,
from the
so
past.
I think my algorithm on my TV is a mix of these weird. There's another video that he made me watch where this is a YouTube channel where two brothers are eating really, really fast.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mix of these things, and yeah. So I think these are the two things I would say: gaming videos, and I saw Alexander yesterday, not him as in person, but the documentary / fiction show. Alexander, अरे भाई तू कितने है?
ये वो Netflix वाला बोल रहा है?
Yeah, I finished that in one go, so I was very happy.
Yeah. Very good, very good. And Abhish, तेरे shows कुछ हो रहे हैं अभी? Anything you'd like to promote before we wrap up?
Yeah, bro, skis. I'm on stage almost every day. I'm trying to like I've almost built. I'm building more. Want to build a touring property, which is
Do
which
you
is
have a
going to be
name for
very
this, Avish? Do you start with the name or do you come up with it as
Uh,
the thing
I'm not
progresses?
as confident as Mr. Varun Thakur. Get date डाल देता है, हो जाएगा भाई. I
मैं
am
देता
like
हूँ.
no, जब तक ready नहीं है, perfect नहीं है, उसके बाद जब तक मैं मर नहीं जानता, मैं tour कैसे करूँगा? So I little learns. I need to take today's lesson from Thakur and be like, date dal de. So yeah, right now it's still. I used to call it Abish on stages after H's. Now it's called Abish Matthew Live Trial Variety Comedy Show. But it's almost some new cool things because on Spoken though, I'm doing Spoken Fest on the 4th. Um, uh, like this is for Aadar also. Aadar, I'm doing my music. All the original stuff which are non-comedy related, I'll be
Oh,
performing
like
there.
that.
ओ तो
Yeah.
म्यूजिक कर रहा है? क्या बात कर? स्पोकन
Yeah.
फेस्ट पे तू सिंगिंग कर रहा है?
मैं
सिंगिंग फेस्ट
स्पोकन
क्या
फेस्ट में
बात है?
सिंगिंग कर रहा हूँ प्लस मैं एक और चीज ट्राई कर रहा हूँ जो मैंने पहले किया नहीं है
हाँ.
परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट वाइज सो लेट्स सी हाउ दैट वर्क्स आउट एंड इफ इट्स गुड
Awesome.
So
I'll send you
comedian
the
doing
link.
music, what more could piss poets off? Acha, I have a weird thing because Abhish was host. I decided to do a Google search, and luckily I have found 2 monkey facts.
Oh,
You know how
अच्छा,
they
we
say.
have, one second, we have to give Abhish
What
context
is monkey
again.
fact?
See, Abhish, हम लोग बहुत टाइम से एपिसोड कर रहे हैं विदाउट गेस्ट. तो हम लोग के थोड़े इंटरनल कुछ चीजें चलते रहती है. तो वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इज, एंड वी हैव टू से, हम लोग को होजे को भी एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ा था लास्ट. आदर हैज अ shtick. Aadar 150 episodes back got whatever the topic was, he got a fact about said topic, but with a monkey angle to it. Like, so a monkey doing what we were talking about. The people do it, but monkeys are doing it. And from that day on, no matter what topic we've had, no matter what we've spoken about, Aadar has managed to ghusawa monkey fact into it.
I'm so looking forward to my monkey
Yeah.
facts.
So,
Oh my
Aadar,
god, this
take
is
it away.
It puts things into perspective. Sorry, what?
It's this ex AGM monkey facts.
Yeah, it puts things like, it's like a nutless monkey could do your job, and that is what I take it from. It's like, okay, if this is a job or this is the topic, can a monkey do it?
Very good.
So with Abhish, we were talking a lot about hosting and stuff. So I found 2. Okay, the first one is pretty simple. Okay, there was a show in Russia called Pozdnya Noch, which literally translates to late night. So monkey hosted a late night TV show. This is where I got the thing where it was very rudiment. The headline was absolute clickbait. Okay, so there was a Russian show called Late Night, and then it aired from 2001 to 2009. So what happened was the host had a thing where he used to call an animal expert and they used to do things, which is the most common late night trope now that there was a point in the then 2000s. So ये उस पे आता था, क्या बोलते हैं, they used to do it on Zoom where the animal guy used to come in and show stuff. So one day the host of the show, the actual host, started throwing up before the last segment of the show could be recorded. So during the ad break he's throwing up. So they said the animal host can take over for the last segment. So now the animal host wasn't prepared to host. तो वो जाके कपड़े बदल के आ रहा है to become cool. And for 30 seconds of dead air, his chimpanzee was sitting in front of the camera. And Russians were just watching the chimpanzee sitting there in the host chair.
Also, he didn't end up doing anything. मेरे को लगा साला कुछ करेगा बंदर.
हाँ, so it was a complete clickbait shit that I found in this particular show. But the second one that I found is quite extraordinary. So this show, this guy is called Mr. Muggs. Okay, this was Muggs, and this is the Today Show in 1950. This guy is legit co-host. So the ratings were going down, and Dave Garroway, who was the host at that time, he decided the production decided we will get a monkey to sit next to a chimpanzee to sit next to Garroway, and that actually boosted the ratings.
Of course,
I would boosted the ratings. And what happened was he would and a couple of people left the show because the monkey was hired, because literally the monkey is taking people's jobs. Okay, now that started happening, and after a while a lot of news articles started coming. Now these were rumors that Garroway was so jealous of the popularity of the monkey that he started spiking the monkey's orange juice with amphetamines so that the monkey would misbehave on air and he could get the monkey replaced by an actual human being.
Wow.
That would
Dude,
just raise their TRP even more. What an idiot that guy is.
Dude, a monkey on amphetamines next to the main host is a bigger danger to the host than it's about the monkey's. Monkey मार देगा तेरे को उसको.
Now, this monkey Muggs, I can understand why the host was pissed off, because to promote the show, Muggs, who is the monkey, was sent on a world tour to promote the Today Show in Japan. And this is why I feel the host was angry, because when the monkey went to Japan, his popularity was second to Marilyn Monroe, and he was waited on by 15 geishas.
Wow.
And Muggs is still alive, by the way. Muggs is still alive, and he lives with his live-in girlfriend, who is also a monkey. Okay. Just to clarify. He lives in Tampa, Florida.
Icing on the cake would be monkey lives with his girlfriend, and that is Mrs. Garroway. What?
That is why the host was angry.
सही है, मजेदार. Bro, Abhish, thank you.
I didn't even know. I feel like the monkey and any topic has like very little bit of crossover, and that's what you're going for. Apparently not. The entire world is monkey. We all come from monkeys, so technically.
Yeah. Bro, it's come to a point where even people who watch or listen to a podcast, they will send other monkey facts, videos, newspaper articles, an actual monkey, whatever. So, मजेदार. सही है. Abhish, thank you so much, bro, for joining us. बहुत ही ज़्यादा मजा आया. I hope this is not the last time और तू वापस आएगा. It was good to chill and chat with you after very, very long. और मिलते हैं अपन जल्द ही soon. And that's it from this episode of the Internet Set. So we were discussing a whole bunch of fun stuff with Abhish Matthew. Links to all his shows are in the comments, so go check him out wherever you are. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and we'll see you again next week. Hold up.
Hey Abhish, वो तेरे पीछे वो दिखा ना, वो क्या है तेरे पीछे? That no, not that. It's on
that old lady who's been standing behind you in the
the things that are stuck on that white curtain. Yeah, what is that?
Oh, I didn't show you this.
No.
Oh my, I didn't notice this.
What is that?
It's like a Velcro wall or something, or
no,
what is all this stuff?
क्या कर
रहे? I'm
oh, अच्छा, this is Rimworld.
Hilarious.
हिलेरियस, वाह, पोस्ट क्रेडिट सीन, वाह, इसको पोस्ट क्रेडिट सीन बना.